What is up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another Kansas City Chiefs related video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com. And today I am joined by Hydrah once again, this time to do a mock draft now that the Kansas City Chiefs have officially entered the offseason and they're out of the playoffs. It's mock draft season, and it's never too early to do a mock draft. Now, I myself haven't done a ton of studying on prospects yet. However, Hydra's done a little bit. I think he's a little more educated than me on some of these players. Like, mainly all the players that I know are just like either Mizzou players or players that I've seen that played Mizzou this season. So, I watched them.
Right.
But I still have a pretty good idea of some of the top prospects, though. Like, if the Chiefs go receiver, like I have a pretty good idea of Chris Olave. I have an opinion on Jamison Williams and guys like that. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of feel things out. Depending on how quick this is, we'll probably do a few of them. But before
For
that,
sure.
Hydrah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate having me on again. It's been a while. I don't even remember the last time I was on. It's been a couple months probably.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, but yeah, it's glad to get you back on. And also, real quick, what do you think of the Washington football team's new name, Commanders?
I mean, I think it's kind of dumb, but at the same time, like I think anything they changed it to was gonna be that way. So
I think
I
it's
don't really care.
mainly just because it's new. Like,
Right.
Commander, really, there's not a huge difference between Commanders and Chiefs when you think about it, but we don't make fun of the Chiefs name because we're used to it. Like, if
Right.
I don't know, that's kind of how I feel. Now, I will say the uniforms are god awful. I do not like the uniforms.
I kind of like them. Once I saw them like on players, they look a lot better. I'll say that. I don't know if you've seen that, but
That's fair. Like, well, they have the burgundy one, like their main one, and that one
right.
still looks good because it's pretty comparable to the one that they had when they were Washington football team. I hated the black. I didn't really like the white, but
Yeah.
it's whatever. Anyway, so we'll do, of course, all 7 rounds. I'll have it on the fast speed, and of course, we'll use their predictive board
Yep.
because it gives you the best variety. So we'll go ahead and start.
Yeah.
Hopefully the quality is okay too. I know I did a test on both the programs I was debating on using, and the StreamYard held up okay when recording a mock draft. So hopefully everything will go okay. But yeah, I've noticed a lot of variance when I've done these because I've done a few of them already. And like, I know Treylon Burks is a guy that Chiefs fans like. I like, if you were to go to receiver in round 1, sometimes he's there at 30. Sometimes he'll get taken as early as like 10th overall. And it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
it's whatever though. But Hydrah, I know you're pretty big just from reading your Twitter.
My
You're pretty
guy.
big on defense. You
Yeah.
are huge on defense, aren't you? So what do you think? Like, would you rather attack wide receiver in free agency? Are you a wide receiver in round 1 guy? Is it both? What do you feel with the first pick, kind of?
So last year you and me both were pretty big on going after receiver round 1 or 2, whether it be
Yeah.
like Terrace Marshall, Diami Brown. Those were kind of like the 2 top guys that the Chiefs could have taken if they wanted to. And just after seeing like this year, after seeing how we failed to get Juju, McCole disappointed once again until the end of the year. And us still being able to kind of make it with the emergence of a guy like Byron Pringle, Jody Fortson early on. Like I'm okay with not targeting it day one. I think just edge and corner, probably safety need to be kind of like your top 3 choices. That's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Brett said in his preference too yesterday that like this is going to be the focus. And I was happy to hear that. And it's not like it wasn't obvious. So, like, of course, he says it. Like, I think if you were to choose a weak side of the ball for Chiefs, it's obviously the defense, and they need to fix some of these positions, like defensive end, because I think Fred Clark's time in Kansas City is done. Melvin Ingram, I would like for them to bring him back, but obviously there's no guarantee they bring him back. But what position do you feel here at 30? I'm kind of like torn between like edge and corner because, like, I mean, wide receiver, you could go there too. Chris Olave, someone like that. But honestly, I would much rather them get a receiver in free agency if they're going to. They've been connected to Juju Say what you want about Juju. I think he's a really good fit for this offense, and I don't think he's going to be like top
Definitely.
tier free agent expensive. So that would be the one that I love. And if you were to sign him in this hypothetical offseason, then you wouldn't need to take a receiver in round one. But
Yeah.
what are you
I
feeling?
say for this draft, since we said we'll probably do like a couple, let's go with this one not being drafting a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So let's maybe focus defense on this one, then we can kind of see what's there on the next one.
Okay.
So
So
who is on the edge board right now?
so at edge we got and my bad if I say this wrong. Mahai Sanders from Cincinnati. They got him ranked as the 45th player. We got Arnold Ebekete from Penn State. We have Josh Pascal from Kentucky, Drake Jackson, USC, Kingsley Enagbar, who I think is probably a good round 2 prospect, but I could
Yeah.
see him being a guy that like maybe gets overdrafted, and like if you don't pick him here, he might not be available by your second round pick.
If
But
he's the guy I'm thinking of, I think he's had kind of like a lack of production, which kind of scares me a little bit from what I've seen.
yeah,
I saw a little bit of film on him the other day. I mean, he would fit what Spags wants to do. It's just not being able to produce in college really kind of scares me, especially with Veach drafting, because I
mhm.
mean we've seen Breland Speaks happen before. So
Well, there's an example in the most recent draft, like Joshua Kando. Like he has all the physical tools. He had like zero production in college.
speaking of Kane, though, where is his buddy? Is he gone already?
Yeah, the FSU
Jermaine
guy. Gosh, what's
Johnson.
his name? Jermaine
Jermaine
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
where did
think
he go at?
he went.
Did he go top 10? They had him
He
going
went number
7.
7 to
Wow.
the Giants.
So I haven't seen any of the Senior Bowl really. I know it's going on now. He must have had some crazy clips come out or something for him to go that high. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Because for me, he's more of like a like anywhere from like 25 to like 40 is where his range is. So kind of right where the Chiefs are at, but
right.
that's surprising that he went 7th overall. Um,
Yeah.
corner.
And
Oh
keep in
boy.
mind, guys, that like a lot of the players you feel really good about now could always drop, or there could be something that comes out about them. Like even from
Right.
doing mock drafts last year, like one player I really liked as a safety prospect was Paris Ford, and then he had like a god awful pro day and combine, and
Yeah.
he went undrafted. Like he just totally dropped when he was going like top 3 rounds in these mock drafts. But cornerback, we got Tariq Woolen from UTSA, Kyler Gordon, Washington, Kyer Elam from Florida. Also, as their 82nd ranked prospect, Mario Goodrich from Clemson, who's also from Kansas City. So I like him, but again, probably not a guy you would draft in round 1. But those are the guys at corner. Now, okay, you know what, Hydra? Here's the thing. Linebacker, I know you want to draft a linebacker again.
Who's
They
there?
got
N'Kobe
N'Kobe
Dean.
Dean. They got N'Kobe Dean, and N'Kobe Dean is a monster. Like, if you were gonna go linebacker high and you were gonna go on linebacker round 1, he might be the guy. I know you're big on linebacker. Some
He okay,
might
so
not be.
here's the thing. He is kind of like a Devin White type player. He's a Mike. He's a athletic Mike linebacker is what he is at Georgia right now, I'm pretty sure, and then that's
Yep.
what he would be in the league. Really good player. I don't think he would be here. Oh, they do have him listed as a will though for the
Yeah, they
ideal
said
role.
his ideal role is a will and a 4-3, which is actually kind of what we could be looking for. Really, I think Nick Bolton has middle lockdown. Willie Gay really should be playing Will. You really need a Sam linebacker, I feel like.
Yeah, that's the only thing with me, and I've got a guy a little bit later that we can probably take. Christian Harris, he's another guy, can play outside linebacker, super athletic,
Yep.
explosive. I'd be fine with either one of them, but I think round 1, the bigger need is probably going to be edge. After what I just saw for the corners,
Hmm.
I think we go Majai
Yeah.
Sanders. He, to me, from what I've seen on him, he kind of plays like Frank Clark, so I feel like he would be a
Don't
good
do
fit.
it to me.
I think he plays like really similar to Frank Clark. He's like a more athletic version of him, more explosive. Um, I think they would like him, and I think he's probably the best available for what the Chiefs would need right now. So I think we
Yeah,
gotta take him.
yeah, and as much as I've like trashed Frank Clark, and rightfully so, he's a good player, and he's a player that I know it's kind of become a joke, but he can set the edge. And if you're going to be moving on from him, you need to find someone with that type of skill set. They just don't need to be your number one defensive end, and they don't need to be paid $100 million like Frank Clark was. So, yeah, I would like the pick if that's kind of what we're looking for. So I'll go ahead and
That's
take
yeah,
Sanders if you're on board with it.
I think that's what we gotta go here.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
corner, I've got a lot of people are really high on Sauce Gardner. He's already gone. I'm really high on Andrew Booth. I think he plays like a more athletic L'Jarius Sneed that you can just stick strictly on the outside.
Yeah.
He's already gone. He'll test really well at the combine, and he'll be probably a top 10 pick by the time we're all done with this. So,
All
unfortunately,
right. Yeah. So here we are at pick 62. Kingsley is still on the board if you wanted to double up on edge. Drake Jackson also from USC. But if we go to all prospects, you've got Christian Harris, the linebacker from Alabama, who we were talking about just a minute ago. Kyer Elam from Florida, also still on the board.
that's intriguing.
They have him ranked as their 57th prospect, and it would be a good value pick at this point. And we know, we need corner too, because the Chiefs' only cornerbacks under contract for next year are Rashad Fenton and L'Jarius Sneed. And depending on what happens with Tyrann Mathieu as well, like you're gonna have holes to fill in the secondary.
Yeah, who is on the speaking of Matthew, who's on the safety board right now? Because from what
Yeah, we'll look.
from what we know right now, it seems like he's probably going to be gone. Yeah, and I just wouldn't touch any of that.
Yeah, we got Jalen Petra from Baylor, Verone
He's a
McKinley.
he's a guy you can. I've watched a little bit of him. He's a guy could play corner, could play in the slot, could play safety, can kind of move him around. I just don't like the value there. He's kind of I kind of like where they have him in the 90s there. That'd be a good
Yeah,
spot for him.
that's kind of what they're saying here in his analysis. They kind of like him as a Swiss Army knife that can
Yeah.
play all over
Hmm.
the field. Um, Honestly, I could see the Chiefs going the free agent route with safety, even if they let go of Matthew. Like, I feel like if you're going to go the free agent route with safety, if you let go of Matthew, that free agent might as well be Tyrann Mathieu. But I don't know. Maybe they just don't like his career trajectory. Um,
Yeah.
you could also sign someone like Jabril Peppers, who's kind of a Swiss Army knife too, and maybe draft someone and you roll with that as kind of your safeties. But yeah, I mean, safety will be interesting. It's going to be a difficult position to navigate.
Yeah, go ahead and check the linebacker board now.
All
Curious
right.
to see who's still there. Christian Harris is still there.
Yep.
Oh man, I think we're
And
at 62.
it might be your best value because, well, like Kyer Elam, like I like him, but I mean, Mario Goodrich, someone that I like, he's still on the board and he might be there
Darren
by the next
Kendrick,
pick.
that's intriguing.
Yep.
Also, he's really good. He has some off the field stuff, I'm pretty sure, but like if that stuff clears up, he can go a lot higher than that. Um,
Yeah.
I think I agree with
Well, and
you. I
it's
think
like,
best value.
I just wanted to add Kendrick really because it looks they said his ideal role is a developmental outside corner, but it looks like he has all the really good traits athletically, like top end speed. That's kind of something the Chiefs don't have in corners right now. L'Jarius Sneed is the only one that really has top end speed, and even L'Jarius Sneed, like people might not like to hear this. I don't think L'Jarius Sneed is going to be a shutdown corner. Like I think the Chiefs lack a shutdown corner, and I'm not saying that's going to be Drake, but if Snead is your number two, you're in a really, really spot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I don't know if you have additional thoughts there, but yeah,
I I
we
think
could go Christian
Sneed is
Harris with this
just
pick if you want.
I think the thing with Sneed is just we move him around too much. I mean, we see, when you put him
Yep.
outside, he can shut down receivers. We saw that this year. And then when, we put him in the slot, which is where they really like him, he's great in the run game, but those deep crossing routes kind of kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think I don't see the Chiefs realistically drafting linebacker in the second round 3 years in a row,
A lot
though.
of
That's
people
the
are going to
only
freak
thing.
out if they do.
Yeah,
A
I
lot of
just
people.
I think my thing is I don't think you can keep just putting pennies into the cornerback position. I think if Kyrie Elaine, or I'm not really sure how to say his name. I think if he's still
Yeah.
there, I think he's got to be the pick.
Yeah, and the Chiefs could go and get a linebacker in free agency too to fill snaps. Like, I don't think linebackers as big of a need as it was in years past. I think what they need to do at linebacker is just find a way to take Ben Neiman out of the equation. Like, I forget it, which is easier said than done with Steve Spagnuolo as your defensive coordinator, but like I'm pretty sure Damian Wilson was only signed with the Jaguars for 1 year. Like I think he's going to be a free agent again. Don't quote me on that. But I mean, you could find a guy like him that's like better than Ben Neiman, but also, he's just going to fill snaps for you and he can do some more things. But Ben Neiman should not be on this team next year.
I don't think Hitchens should either. Both of them can't move anymore. They just
Yeah.
can't.
Oh my God. Did you see Hitchens against the Bills in the divisional game? Like on that first drive? I mean, they went right at him and he could not move.
Yeah, he just. I tweeted out actually. I was like, we take Sorensen off the field for a few snaps, and right away they target the next least athletic guy in Hitchens. It just
Yeah.
drives me insane. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think
But yeah.
Elam has to be the pick here.
All
If
right.
you're good with
Elam it
that,
is. Yeah,
yep,
no, I'm good with that. And I think they need to go cornerback relatively high because
lock it in.
I don't think they had the money to spend on corner and free agency because like good corners just they get expensive and
Right.
they probably need to draft a guy. But
Yeah, you just can't keep finding Legarius Sneeds in the 4th round, or Rashad
yeah,
Fenton, who's a 6th round guy. Like, I just don't really see it happening.
yeah, I agree. They need to stop spending nickel and dime on the quarterback position, kind of like we were saying a while ago. But here we go. Pick 94, their first third round pick, because now they got two third round picks with Ryan Poles being hired by the Chicago Bears. Um, I don't know. I feel like this is a pick we could do a lot of things with. Like we
I see
covered
my
some pretty
guy,
major needs with the first two. Um, let's see. Who is your guy here?
Brandon Smith, Penn State.
Oh yeah, I saw you tweet about him. Tell us about him. What do you like about him?
Versatile player. He's big bodied, but he's really athletic. He's kind of like a Micah Parsons type, obviously to a way lesser extent, but you can kind of move him around. I've seen him drop back in coverage at corner for a few snaps from what I saw the other day. And got a few interceptions in zone that way. He's just like really versatile. I think he's a guy that you can put at outside linebacker at the Sam position, move Bolton inside, and then kind of bring in like a veteran to that group. Obviously, like you talked about, it's just
Mm-hmm.
he's a guy. He's got some stuff to work on, especially in the run game. He's definitely kind of like the opposite of Nick Bolton, I'd say, where he's definitely more of a passing down guy.
Yeah.
So that does kind of worry me if we're going to play him as Sam, but he is just one of those freak athletes that Penn State, that defense these past few years is just full of them. So I like him.
Well, I think Willie Gay can play Sam because I think Willie
True.
Gay is much more punishing in the run game. So if you were to draft this guy and he ends up panning out, you could play him at will, or like they say here, they like him as a sub package nickel linebacker and passing downs. Like I'd be
Yeah.
much more comfortable with this guy than Ben Neiman. Like if he projects at how you talk about him and what his report says here, I mean, that's a heck of a linebacker core. And yeah, he does have really good size too, like 6'3", 240 pounds. Like that's damn near defensive end.
Yeah. Wow, they have him at a 4.38 40-yard dash on that out of high
Yep.
school. That's insane. I think we got to see who else is on the board, but that's just going to be my guy kind of every time we get to the 3rd round and he's still there. That's just
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at.
I'm sold. But we'll look at a couple other guys.
Yeah, I think we can look
Just
at receiver here.
yeah, checking in on the receivers. Kyle Phillips, UCLA, Romeo Dubs from
Justin
Nevada,
Ross.
Reggie Johnson, Justin Ross. We could probably get him with our next pick. He might be a little bit of a reach here, but did he play this past season?
So if he did play, he would be day 1 or 2 guy. I believe
Mhm.
he's been out with like an ACL all year, but the year before, I mean, he was there with Trevor Lawrence, big body receiver, fast, kind of complete package, kind of like a Terrace Marshall type. Um, yeah, the only reason he's at 168 there is because of an injury this year. Otherwise, he would be a lot higher.
Makes
That's
sense.
probably the only thing that would scare me is what are you going to get from him having an injury like that? Is he going to be the same? Because I think it was like an ACL, MCL, something like that. So you never quite
Right.
know. Some people bounce back, like Thornhill. He's kind of bounced back, but he's still not the same player than he used to be. So it does kind of scare me, especially for receiver.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of looking at some of the other positions. Offensive tackle. I don't think we need one, but I know you're a big Lucas Niang truther. I've seen a lot of people say maybe they need to look at right tackle again after Lucas Niang, got hurt again. I think
Yeah,
Lucas Niang can be a good right tackle,
he needs
but
to stay healthy.
does the health scare you? Like, what do you, is it bad enough that you would consider maybe drafting a right tackle of the future?
It's weird because Andrew Wiley, we saw what happened when he played right tackle last year, and even when he kind of had to fill in there at the start of this year after Niang went down, and I feel like he kind of grew into the role this year as it went on, and I think he's the guy the Chiefs are really high on. They like him. He's
Hmm.
probably going to be brought back. I think he's going to be a free agent this year, but I think they're probably going to bring him back. I think if he's your backup tackle, that's probably a good thing. I haven't looked at tackles yet or offensive line at all besides Tyler Linderbaum, the center from Iowa, but he's long
Yeah.
gone by now. Um, I, I just don't know anything about these guys. I mean, Tyler
Darrell
Vrabel right there.
Rosenthal from Kentucky is a guy that I like. He's kind of the only one I know about out of this group, just off the top of my head.
Okay,
Um, but I saw him play against Mizzou this past season, and he had a really good game. Actually, I think he might have been a transfer. I know they had a transfer on their offensive line. Yeah, he was with the LSU Tigers before, and looks like he transferred to Kentucky. But he had a really nice 2021 for Kentucky. He's a big guy too, 6'7", 327 pounds.
okay,
Um, so he might be a guy to look into later on. Again, definitely a reach here, and I think the Chiefs have other needs. But if we're just
for sure.
talking someone who can play tackle, and if legit or not Legarius Need, Lucas Niang does, kind of fall out of favor as a starting offensive lineman. I actually think that he would suit pretty well as like a swingman offensive lineman because I think he can play interior too.
Yeah,
And you saw after Orlando Brown got hurt, they moved him to left tackle. They trust him at left tackle. He can really play almost anywhere on the offensive line. But
and he looked good at left tackle before he went down. It was just kind of an unfortunate thing. I'd been asking all season, put him at left tackle. They do it, and he gets hurt. So that that
yeah,
that, that was a bummer. But yeah,
I think he'll be back and he'll be serviceable for the Chiefs. But um, I after looking at some of these other positions, like I don't think we need to go running back right now. That could be
there are
later
some good
on.
ones there. Those top three right there for
Yeah.
running back. I
Yeah.
don't I don't want to draft them, but those three right there, those are
You
some good
know,
ones.
I love I love Tyler Beatty, especially as a Missouri fan, and I think he's actually
Yeah,
a perfect fit for the offense. And this is going to sound cliche given what we just saw this postseason, but he has a lot of Jerick McKinnon in him. But
yeah.
man, James Cook also from Georgia, he can do a lot of things, and he's even more athletic than Beatty.
I actually like. I forget what his name is, but there's another Georgia back that I actually like a lot more. He might be gone by now.
Zamir
I
White.
forget it. Zamir White. Yeah, I really like him. He's a guy. At our next pick after this one, if he's still there, he might be worth looking at.
They got him pretty far down on the running back board at the moment, but to be fair to him, I mean, there's also a lot of good running backs still on the board right now.
Yeah,
Brees Hall, Brian Robinson, Hassan Haskins, but we might have our pick of the litter at running back. But even after looking at a lot of these positions, I honestly really like your guy Braden Smith, and he would also be a good value pick right here. I feel
let's do it.
they got him as the 87th player. We're at pick 94, so I'm sure the guys on the um, draft analyst panel would love that pick when the draft is actually going down. but they
Yeah.
love every pick, don't they? Um,
Oh yeah.
Also, the draft is in Kansas City this year, isn't it?
Next
Or
year.
did it get pushed back? That's right. It was supposed to be
So
this year, but it got pushed back, didn't it?
yeah, I'm not sure. All I know is it's next year, but yeah, that's actually
Okay.
something that a lot of Chiefs fans have kind of been saying, like, because of that they think the Chiefs aren't going to trade up this year and then lose their first round pick next year, which I kind of agree with that. I kind of don't, but that's just,
That trading another first round pick would be risky. I think the only scenario in which they would do that is if like a can't miss player becomes available and they think they can fit him under the cap, or they just go, well, this would kind of tie into what I just said, but like if it's also a scenario where, they're kind of disappointed with what they've done with Patrick Mahomes and that championship window, and they just take the Los Angeles Rams route and they just like sell the farm to go all
yeah.
in. I don't really see them doing that, but who knows? It's Brett Veach.
Yeah, I think I mean, if they're guys, they're in the 20s or something and they're picking at 29 or 30, I think they might jump up. I mean, we saw it last year, right? Veach had never traded up before. He traded up what, once or twice
Hmm.
last year, so you know, it could happen.
Yep. Yep. So now with this pick, we've eliminated some huge defensive needs: cornerback, linebacker, edge. We could double down on edge, but also, it's been a while since we've addressed offense. Justin Ross is still there. I don't know how you feel about running back in round 4. It looks like there was a run of running backs, so we're down to guys like Brian Robinson, Zamir White, Jerome Ford. Um, you could also get
Hmm.
another cornerback because, again, even if you draft a cornerback, you're only going to have 3 on roster. Because I actually think Charvarius Ward is going to get paid by another team.
I do
Like at
too.
this point,
I do
I think
too.
he's going to get paid by another team, and I don't think the Chiefs are going to pay whatever the other teams are, bargaining for.
Right. I see Matt Hankins up there. I don't like him in round 4.
I'll go
Who-
to best players available.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, Brian Robinson, Brian Asamoah. Don't really need another linebacker.
I think
Um,
maybe see if that tackle is there, or we could look at receiver. I think we probably should go offense here.
mhm. Uh, yeah, Derek Rosenthal is still there. They got him as their 166,
Okay.
and we're at pick 131. I'm gonna trust TDN's board at the moment, just given I haven't studied a bunch of prospects yet.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, yeah,
it's
there's a lot of boards, like all the different mock draft machines, whatever you want to call them. They're all
right,
different boards, and a lot of them they'll have guys like Brandon Smith, for example, our last pick, probably won't fall that far. He'll probably go higher, but they'll also have guys that Jermaine Johnson, he went 7th overall. He's probably not going to go that high. So
right.
it's always, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
You know, we could look at the safeties again. Is there anyone you like out of the safeties right there?
Uh, I don't know enough about the late round safeties. I just
Smoke
I,
Monday. He has a cool name. That's all I know
I
about him.
I've heard about Bolden there, but I mean they've got him at 259, so definitely a reach.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I was looking at the defensive tackle board too. Looks like it's very
Yeah, Gerard
shallow right
Reed is
about now.
leaving. He's leaving too. He
Yeah.
tweeted out today, so
Yeah, you can kind of tell by his tweet. Also, I just wasn't all that impressed by him. Now, I still think he would be like worth bringing back. But they did. I forget how much his 1 year deal was. I want to say it was like $7 million. Like I don't know if I would pay that again.
I think it was like
Um,
5.
it might have been 7 with incentives, but
Yeah,
if you want to bring Ingram back, you might have back Sharon Reed, and honestly, I think it might be time to give Tershawn Wharton more snaps too. But that's
I
just
agree.
me.
I think the thing with Wharton is I think, we've kind of tried him on the edge a little bit this year. He's been buried behind the defensive tackle group. I think with him, he's kind of like what we did with Chris Jones at the beginning of the year, where we made him drop weight and he's kind of in between. I think we should
Well, they've
either
had
let
him
him
in
drop
coverage a
weight.
lot towards the end of the season too.
Right, yeah, I think so. If we're gonna use him that way, we should probably have him drop weight, or if we're gonna use him as strictly like a defensive tackle, I think he should probably bulk up so that he can win a lot more. Because that's kind of the one thing he struggles with is he's just a little bit undersized, but he's like an athletic freak, so that kind of makes up for it
Yeah,
some of the time. But
they also got Colin Saunders too, who
right,
like if they ever want to give him playing time, like eventually you have to make room because like once again this year, well he was on IR, but like I kind of felt like he fell out of the rotation as the season went on once again. So, um, you eventually you need to see what you have in him, and they invested a top 100 pick in him.
I like him. I think he is very, again, like Warren, very athletic. Yeah, he's always behind Noddy and Jones, and then bringing in Reed this year really kind of hurt him. And then he, went down with I think a shoulder injury or something. So they just activated him before the Bengals game. So
Yep. By the way, I apologize if everyone can hear my dog barking in the background. He'll shut up soon, I'm sure. Um, let's see. Cornerback. A Caleb Evans from Missouri. I like him. Again, I'm a Missouri fan, but he's not the biggest guy in the world, 6'2", 190, but he actually was able to go up against superior receivers on the outside. And he almost kind of reminds me of Charvarius Ward a little bit. I think he could be an under the radar type of player that can play on the perimeter, but
okay,
I don't
I
know.
think
This pick is kind of a weird pick. I feel like we can go a lot of directions. Justin
yeah,
Ross
for
too,
sure.
still
I
there,
think
but
he might be the pick for me.
I feel
Just
like he. I feel like he's a bigger name than a player at this point. I'm not sure how much the injuries have affected him,
that is
but
true.
man, I mean, well, let's think about this. Like, I think the Chiefs are probably going to get a receiver in free agency, and if they do that, you're probably going to bring back Pringle on the. I don't know. What do you feel about Pringle? Do you think he's going elsewhere, or do you think he sticks around?
I think, we probably want him back, especially because he and Mahomes kind of started to finally build a chemistry after all these years. But I also feel
Yeah.
like other teams might be interested in him because of that. So it kind of depends. I mean, McCole Hardman finally, started looking good. And he, even said in a press conference that, this whole offseason, they were hyping him up. Everyone was saying that he looked a lot better, all this stuff. But then he was kind of saying how he never really built a connection with Mahomes. And that's why, we've always seen that Mahomes gets frustrated with him for running the wrong route or, not being where he's supposed to be. But, he finally started to kind of get things together towards the end of this year. So it just, I feel like there's so many question marks on receiver. So I
Well,
think you're
because I
right. I think you're right.
well, I just want to. Well, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we're not like totally crowding the receiver room. Like Justin
Right.
Ross, yeah,
Yeah.
good prospect, but you also have to think about that. Like you want to manage the room correctly. Like if you bring back Pringle and Hardman's still going to be here, and then Cornell Powell, who you also invested in last year, like
True.
some guys are probably going to be looking around like, okay, what the heck? But
Yeah, no, I think now would maybe be a good time to take a tackle, to kind of develop into, a backup tackle, maybe guard, because we're gonna have a lot of, we've got a pretty solid O line right now, especially with depth, but a lot of those guys are leaving after this year probably. So maybe I think, just adding some more protection that we can, have for Mahomes is always gonna be a good thing.
well, on that offensive tackles, we got Tyler Vrabel, the Sun Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, third starter for Boston College, 2 years spent left tackle and at right tackle, physical and aggressive blocker, and they said they like his zone blocking scheme, which Reed definitely does a lot of zone blocking. Uh, they have him as a development tackle, may need to kick inside the guard. Sounds
Hmm.
sounds like an intriguing player to me, but
What about
we
that
could also
Braxton
just
Jones guy that's up top? What's
well, we
his
could
kind
also
of
draft him
size?
just we could also draft him just to spite Mike Vrabel, but I understand there's other needs. Braxton Jones, highly decorated senior at left tackle, good athlete overall, who is agile enough to move his feet in his set in the run game, physical and aggressive, but not necessarily overpowering. Ideal role left tackle, scheme fit, also his own blocking scheme. Appears to have excellent length, good athleticism,
I think,
much better size than the other guy too.
yeah, I think he probably is the best available, especially because he's the highest. Again, I don't really know anything about the tackles quite yet. Um, so I think they have him as best available. You know, he's kind of the same size as Orlando Brown and Lucas Niang. So maybe he can, fill in
Yeah.
kind of better for them than the other guy. I think he might be the
Yeah,
pick.
he was much lighter, which is probably why they said he might need to kick inside in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah, I can go with that. Obviously, we're going to be taking some shots in the dark with some guys, just given how early it is in the
Oh,
draft process.
especially coming up here. We have like 4 7th rounders that are like 10 picks apart from each other.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just kind of best available at this point. Trying to fill
Yep.
holes.
And I feel like we definitely accomplished that with the first 3 picks in this first mock. So,
For sure.
and they were all on the defense, something that they really need to shore up, and they're going to be losing a lot of guys. Like I think Hitchens is gone. I think Frank Clark is gone.
Yeah.
I think Tyrann Mathieu is probably gone, but is what it is. That's just the nature of the NFL.
Yeah.
Here we are at pick 190 though.
Right.
Again, just kind of best players available. Pierre Strong Jr., the running back from South Dakota State. I've heard good things about him. Damian Pierce from Florida, Elam's teammate. Demarion Williams, cornerback from Houston. Any guys you like here? Are we
I
going to be
just
taking?
have no idea who any of these guys are yet. I'm not that far in.
We could go running back. I would like to draft a good athletic running back at this point. 6th
Yeah.
round, I feel like that's a good time to take one. Pierre Strong, good athlete with straight line speed, showing good body control, good in the passing game, sufficient hands, definite threat in space. Sounds like everything we need. What do you think, Hydrah?
Run it.
Also a good zone runner, as they say here. Good change of pace, complimentary back. That's exactly what we're looking for. So go ahead and add him in.
Yeah. Oh, Tyler Goodson was there too. He's yeah, I don't think he'll be a good NFL back though. So I like that pick.
All right. Well, we have how many 7th round picks? 2, 3?
I believe we have like 3 or 4 coming up here.
I feel like I can't do it because I don't have the premium. But I feel like Brett Veach is going to package some of those up and move up. He doesn't want 3 7th round picks on this team.
100%.
Yeah.
Package up 4 7th rounders, give me a 4th or 5th round pick. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yep. I will say Veach is good at, the 6th and 7th round. That's kind of like his cliche. That's kind of like his thing. So he might find some guys here. You never know.
Definitely. I mean, again, just looking at best players available. We passed on Justin Ross, so could go receiver here. Looks like we got a guy from Texas Tech. I mean, maybe this guy knows Patrick Mahomes and they have a good relationship. I'm not sure. That'd be the only reason I could see to draft him. Amari Carter, safety from Miami. At this point, we're getting to guys in the draft that don't even have an analysis report on them, so I can't even learn anything about them.
Trey Turner, I have heard some buzz about.
Let's read what he says. Trey Turner leads the Virginia Tech program, top 5 all-time among Hokies receivers for receiving yards, receptions. Standout basketball player in high school. He's 6'2", 190. Ideal role inside, outside wide receiver. That is a top 3 option. With a basketball background too. Sounds like a guy that could go up and get some of those contested catch balls, which that's probably that's what they were going to use Jody Fortson for this season. And then Jody Fortson obviously got hurt.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, he'll be back though. I don't know, man. these 7th round picks. In reality, I think these are going to get packaged. So, I mean, it's not
Right.
like these picks will be all that realistic.
I mean, at this point, do you want to just fill the holes that they have for us? I mean, they've got interior defensive line, interior
Yeah.
offensive line. Tight end's not a need, obviously. But yeah, like wide receiver.
Oh, Kobe Whiteside from Missouri. You know what? I'll just take him.
There you go.
Interior defensive lineman. Bring him in, develop him. He. I'll just give a kind of a quick scouting report on him. So he led the team in sacks, not this past season, but the one before that.
Okay.
At least I'm pretty sure in 2020. It might have been the year before that even. But anyways, he's not someone that he's a good pass rushing defensive tackle, but he's not ever going to be someone that like can be your best pass rusher on the interior. He definitely needs someone to be the guy to eat up double teams and eat up blocks. And then, almost kind of like a Jaron Reed. Like
Yeah.
honestly, he kind of like a Jaron Reed type player. Like he's not going to be that type of force on the inside, but a good number 2 developmental type of player. So
All right.
we can go with him
Sure.
because he 1 year he played with Jordan Elliott. I don't know if you've heard of Jordan Elliott. He plays for the Browns. He was a 3rd round pick for them a couple seasons ago.
Oh,
And
okay.
Jordan Elliott was a monster at Missouri. Like he was Missouri's Chris Jones. And when Kobe Whiteside played next to him, he actually led, I'm pretty sure it was either the team or the SEC in sacks. He was like the top returning sack leader in the SEC. He had a really good year, and then he kind of tailed off towards the end there.
Hmm.
But I like him as at this point in the draft, developmental defensive tackle. Sure, why not?
Yeah, sign me up.
Um,
Trey Turner's
Trey
still there.
Turner, we'll go with him. Why
Sure.
not? We're really these last few picks are just kind of throwaway
Yeah, I think
picks,
at this
really.
point, just
And
kind of, just kind of speed run so we can get back to the other one.
yep. And looks like we'll take. Look, they got this cornerback listed from the NCAA.
Hmm.
Like they don't even have him from a team. Looks like this dude probably opted out or something. Said I'm gonna train for the draft.
No
Um.
idea.
Oh, Smoke Monday. People like him. The safety from Auburn.
All
Yeah,
right.
we'll go with him.
Sure.
Smoke Monday. I don't know a ton about him, but I've seen a lot of Chiefs fans take him in their mock drafts, and I really feel like it's just for the name. So I'll hop on the train.
All right.
All right.
I like that. I think we got some good value on defense early on.
Oh yeah. God, I can't. Sanders, the edge from Cincinnati, our first pick. I like that one. Kyer Elam, cornerback from Florida, obviously needed a cornerback. I think my favorite pick is probably Brandon Smith from Penn State because he might have the highest upside out of all the picks here. Got some tackle depth with Braxton Jones at pick 131. Got a good athletic running back that you can add to the mix to compete with Clyde Edwards-Helaire for carries. We
Yeah.
don't know Jerick McKinnon's future either, and we saw what the Chiefs could do with a running back like Jerick McKinnon in the postseason. So getting someone that replicates him sounds good to me. And then you guys, about those last 3 picks. We just kind of messed around with them, but who knows? Maybe you hit on one of those guys, find a diamond in the rough. But any
For
closing
sure.
thoughts on this first draft?
I mean, I think I like the value of what we got early on there. Later rounds, I think we're probably going to try and package something again, kind of like you said. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm good with that though. I think that was pretty good. I think that fills some major needs. Starting off with those first 3. I mean, that kind of really helps out the defense. Gives you a lot of younger athletes, which is really all you can ask for right now at this point.
Mhm.
Is people that can actually move. They don't necessarily need to know where to be at, but just as long as they can be in a position and be able to recover, that's really all you need right now.
Yeah. So did you want to do one more, or did that one kind of drain you?
We can do another. We can do another
Do you
for
want to
sure.
use the draft network again, or do you want to use like PFF's mock site?
Might as well. I mean, we could always do PFF a different time.
Okay. Use draft network again. All
Yep,
right, let's do it.
on the right there. Oh,
All right. Should we just, Should we just do like the first 6 rounds?
sure.
Yeah, we'll just do 6 rounds to make it quicker and to make
Just
it
speed
look
it up
like we
a
know
bit.
what we're talking about more.
Yeah, because you get to
All
that
right.
7th round, and it's like, oh, I don't know any of these people.
Yeah. Just too early for that. Should we go wide receiver round 1 in this one?
I mean, I think, yeah, we can definitely see who's on the board.
All right, Chris Olave is there. I feel like he might be the pick if you're going to go receiver. There's a lot of good receivers in this
John
draft, man. George
Mechie.
Pickens, John Mechie, David Bell. George Pickens, I think if he stayed in school one more year, I don't know if he's going to. I forget if he's even made a decision yet. I think if he stayed in school one more year, because I think he's he's a junior.
I would not touch him until round 2.
Yeah, he might be someone that can move up if he stayed in school another year, but definitely a good prospect. Yeah, Chris Olave.
Chris
I mean, a
Olave.
lot of Chiefs fans like him.
Yeah,
He's a really good route runner. Gets really good separation, um, and also he plays well in big games too. So
I think
I
that's
always like that about.
exactly what we could use at receiver. Someone
Yeah.
that can get open and play good in big games, not drop the ball.
Yep. The antithesis of McCole Hardman.
Run it. Yeah,
Uh,
you just had to say it.
I know. I feel bad because McCole, he did pick it up towards the end of the year. Like, I'll give him his credit, and he was a
He held
really
on
big
to the
factor in the
ball.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did everything that was asked of him. So wide receiver, obviously, we already did that. I like Wan'Dale Robinson from Kentucky, but he's kind of another gadget guy, really, if you ask me.
Who's
But
there at
he's an
safety?
explosive player. Um,
I think all the
let's see.
guys that I know are probably. Yep.
Yep. The board's not looking great there. Linebacker. Probably no. We won't go linebacker in round 2 again.
What about edge?
Yeah, let's look at edge. Drake Jackson, Kingsley, Enagbar. A lot of people like him. I know
What
we
about
talked about
corner?
him earlier.
Yeah, what do we got at corner?
Kyra Elam again. Darion Kendrick, Mario Goodrich. Should we go Elam again?
I think we should probably go. Let's try Drake Jackson maybe, because he early on looked really good in the season, and then kind of like as it went out, he kind of started falling down people's boards. I haven't really looked at him recently. I did earlier on. He's bigger guy. I think he's like 6'5", yeah, 6'4".
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Definitely has some bend and speed. It just kind of like run game is kind of like his question mark. Just can he put it all together? Same thing with like Nick Benito. He's still on the board there. He's like undersized. I think he's like 6'1", 6'2". Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, just speed rusher around the edge, but we kind of really need like a complete edge. I like Drake Jackson at pick 62 though.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I could get on board with that. I agree with you. We need a complete defensive end. You could always get speed rushers. I think Melvin Ingram kind of fits that profile of a speed rusher, someone that can come in and rush the passer specifically on third down. And I think that the Chiefs will bring him back. And if they do, then you need someone that can, as much as I hate to say it, kind of play like Frank Clark on the other side, but someone with higher upside and obviously not $100 million.
Right.
And also someone who can get more than one pressure and 34 pass rushing snaps in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Ooh, Kyron Williams from Notre Dame. He's listed as a running back. He's kind of a do-it-all type player. We don't really need that, but kind of fun to dream about. Well, we could go. Did they take my guy, Mario Goodrich? Looks like they did. Yeah. Oh, he went pick 72 to the Seahawks. Do you like any of these cornerbacks? Like that, I'm all ranked kind of lower relative or pick in the order here. but
So
uh,
Kobe Bryant
Michael
and
Wright from Oregon. I don't know.
Kobe Bryant is a guy I would look at here. You know, he was the opposite of Sauce Gardner in Cincinnati. And he held up pretty well, to be honest, this year. And I think especially, you know, Sauce kind of has that like lockdown corner name to him, so he was probably tried more. And yeah, they've got him listed ideal role number 2 corner. I mean, I think he is a guy that you can kind of rely on as your number 2 or 3. Um, he's not going to be number 1. I mean, that's Snead, obviously. I think, yeah, like I picked 94. I like him there.
All right, let's do it. I'll trust your evaluation of him.
And Josh Jobe, I mean, the guy under them, he's kind of similar in the way, kind of like probably going to be number 2 or 3, but I mean, has been solid in college, hasn't been, you know, a lockdown necessarily, but not horrible either. So I think round 3 is a good spot for them.
Right. All right, pick 131. Linebacker, I'm looking at again. We got Terrell Bernard from Baylor, Brian Samo from Oklahoma.
Okay, so here's the thought:
Fourth, we will.
do we go off the assumption for this mock draft that Dorian O'Daniel is going to see the field next year, and we also bring in another veteran linebacker? Because if that's the case, then now we could probably look at one of those running backs that we talked about in the last one.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think Spags is still going to be here, even though I would like to upgrade from him. And as long as he is here, I don't think Dorian O'Daniel's ever getting on the field.
Unfortunately.
Brian Robinson from Alabama, running back. I think that's the only running back I would take here.
Zamir White's there. He's a guy I like.
U.S. Army All-American. He was the number 1 RB in the nation coming out of high school. Projected role, starting running back. Like the sound of that. Runs with sufficient proactive athleticism. I wonder why they have him so low on here. Did he just not produce at Georgia? Did Cook take all of the snaps?
Yeah, he was like the 3rd string guy, but was effective catching screens out of the backfield from what I saw. Just, you know, one of those guys, got the athletic upside that I think, you know, gives you something that we don't necessarily have outside of Jerick McKinnon right now.
Let's do it. I'll take him. Let's have fun with this one. Load up on offense.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got him ranked as the 3rd running back coming out of Georgia. So, or Alabama, sorry.
Derek Rosenthal went pretty early. He went a few picks after we took the Georgia back. So it looks like sometimes this TDN predictive board can think pretty highly of some of these players as opposed to other other times that I've used it.
Yeah.
That's just weird. I don't know. Like, he didn't go like super early compared or relative to his ranking, but they had him ranked as like the 166th player, and then he goes like in the 130s.
Yeah, sometimes they'll just draft it for needs or fit based on their evaluations.
Well, and like I said last year when I was doing these, like sometimes I like how they do that because it's actually pretty accurate to the real draft because teams make picks that you're like, what the hell? Like, and it's actually pretty accurate because,
yeah,
you know, we've like when we drafted Joshua Kando, like I'm sure a lot of people thought Joshua Kando was more of a later round guy. We took him in the 4th round.
That's where I had him at.
Yeah. Well,
I like Kando. I'm
not saying, I'm not saying he's a bad player or anything, but I think people, well, because I think they kind of panicked when they took him. Because we've had a conversation about this before. I think they were going to take Tyree Gillespie with their 4th round pick, and then they took Kando because the Raiders jumped them to take Gillespie.
Yep.
Which is a shame.
Still mad about it. Still mad about it.
And they have like 8 safeties on their roster. Like he didn't even.
It's kind of like how the Cowboys took Jabril Cox in like the 4th round, even though they already had like 5 linebackers and he didn't even see the field this year. Like
I know.
sometimes they just take those guys for no reason.
And he was like the top coverage linebacker. And he went,
Yeah.
did he even, what round did he go in? He went
I
like
want to
way
say it
later
was
than
like
expected.
yeah, it was like 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, crazy.
And he was
And they kept
projected as like a round 2 guy. So
Leighton Vander Esch, and I'm like, Leighton Vander Esch has to be cut, doesn't he? And he just kind of stayed on the roster all year long, even
yeah,
after
he
they
had a
took 2 other linebackers.
yep.
Weird.
So yeah, some teams just do that. I don't really know the reasoning behind it, but yeah. I guess you could
All
say
right.
that's kind of like how the Chiefs are with defensive tackle in recent years, kind
Yeah,
of just
that's
hoarding all
fair.
of the athletic guys.
Yeah. Which, I like having athleticism on the team. Like I'm not going to fault, Brett Veach in this front office for taking a player with athletic upside. And that's why I'm saying I don't hate the Kando pick. I just like, he didn't produce in college, but he does have all the physical tools. And I think he's someone that next year could maybe take some of Mike Dana's and Alex Okafor snaps and play a little bit more. But we'll just have to see. All right. So 6th round pick. I believe this is our last pick of this mock since I turned off the
Yes.
7th round. So uh do you see anyone you like here? And if so, who? Because I don't
Not
know a ton
anyone
about this
that
crop.
not anyone that I necessarily like. I think maybe we could go um on one of the lines, whether it's, guard, tackle,
Yeah.
edge
Let's look.
again.
Yeah, you know what? Let's look at what do they have at edge? Um I don't know a ton of these guys. Oh, Jeff Coat from Missouri. That's weird that they have him on here because he already announced he's returning for his senior year.
Huh.
They
Van
probably,
Volken. Oh
but
wait, go up a bit or down a bit. Keep going. Volkenberg. Spags might like him.
they got him pretty low. But let's just read what they got about him. Yeah, he's got good
Yeah.
size, 6'4", almost 270, JUCO transfer. Um,
Good
2021
in the
projected
run game.
role.
Not gonna give you too much athleticism, rushing the passer, but he's a guy that you can have it on first down. I think to help stuff the run.
Yeah, that's what they're kind of saying about him here. Lack of high end physical traits,
Yeah.
but a safe floor. That's kind of how I felt about Nick Bolton. And a lot of people were like, oh, Nick Bolton, he's not athletic. He's limitations to coverage. Yeah, but he's a smart player and he's good at what he does. And
Right.
he's got a high floor.
I think again,
You
6th
know,
round, you can't really complain.
yeah, I'll go ahead and take him, especially since you're an Iowa guy and he's from Iowa.
Yeah.
I took one of my Missouri guys last time in the later rounds when we
That's
were
true.
doing
That's
this,
true.
so you can have an Iowa guy. I
We
wish it
both
would
like
just.
that black and yellow.
Yep. It's what's funny actually is like Missouri, they say it's black and gold. And like in the early 2000s, like up until like 2013, 2014, like it was black and gold. But if you look at like their newer apparel and stuff, like it's definitely turned like into a brighter yellow.
Yeah.
Like they've like modernized the logo and it's like it's not gold anymore. It's yellow. Like they've changed it and they just like thought none of the fans would notice. But it is
For
what it
sure.
is. So this draft, I actually liked our last one better, but we had, a little
Really.
more freedom with this one. Yeah, I liked our last draft better, to be
Oh,
honest.
you mean the
Chris
first one?
Olave,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
well, yeah, the first draft I liked better. But this one we
Right.
get Chris Olave, who I think would probably be the best player out of all the picks we've made. When we did, out of both the drafts that we did, but other one, I think we filled more holes and more effectively. Like Drake Jackson from USC, like he is a good prospect, but I know there was some concerns about him playing the run and his fit with the Chiefs. Kobe Bryant, cornerback from Cincinnati, kind of it's not super late to draft a corner, but I would definitely like one of our first two picks to be corner, but obviously that's not how the board fell in this one. And some of the prospects that I liked were gone by pick 94, so we just kind of went with Bryant. Although, because like you said, he projects as a number two. He was a number two at Cincinnati with Sauce Gardner. And I want the Chiefs to get like a shutdown corner. Like I would love for them to get a shutdown corner in some capacity this offseason. Not
Right.
saying Kobe Bryant can't be a good cornerback, but good number two corner, maybe a good Charvarius Ward replacement type guy. Zamir White from Georgia. I like that one. Good running back with high upside. Definitely better profile than like a Darrell Williams or a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think the Chiefs need to stray away from guys like that and go towards more, the McKinnon type of profile.
Right.
It's weird because McKinnon was always the back they needed and they refused to use him. And then the postseason, it's like they use him. They're like, oh shoot, we have a really good running back. And it's like, yeah, I've been telling you that all season long. And then we got your guy from Iowa, good high floor defensive end that maybe could make his way into the rotation. But
Yeah.
any other thoughts on this one?
I think you covered it all, to be honest with you. I agree. I like the other one better. This one we just kind of try to switch it up and do something a little bit different. So
Yep. But yeah, I think that we'll wrap up there with that second mock draft. We'll have to do another one and maybe we'll use some of the other sites. I know some people like the PFF site. And I like how they'll grade your picks for you too. So we'll have to try that one in the future. But for a first mock draft, I think this went pretty well. I liked the first one a lot. Like you said, we did really good there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this mock draft. And I'm sorry for those of you that think you know more than me, or maybe you do know more than me. I don't know. And you like totally hate our picks and you're going to yell at me in the comments. But we're just having fun kicking off the off season with our first mock drafts. But that's all I got for this one. And then, of course, Hydrah, thanks for joining me today. And you guys can follow him on Twitter. I will link his Twitter in the subscription, and I'm sure he'll be tweeting about some more of his favorite prospects as he starts to dive into all 22 more and stuff like that. So any other last words from you, Hydrah, before we depart?
Tom Brady retired. Life is good.
Until he comes back.
It's finally over.
Until he comes out of retirement, because it's going to happen.
Probably.
I feel like he's going to come out of retirement and he's going to go to a different team.
The Raiders.
I say Titans. I feel like the Titans are a spot for him.
Well, actually, I just saw a report that the Titans might be in on Rodgers. So
really,
I just saw that on Twitter a little bit ago. Yeah. So
I predicted that. Well, I predicted as soon as that playoff game was over against the Bengals that they're going to move on from Tannehill. I think they realized they just can't win with him they can't win until they upgrade at quarterback. And I think they're going to move off from Tannehill. But yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. So for those of you still watching, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And we will see you in the next one.